Hey everybody, welcome back to the Alignment Academy with Reema, and today we're going to be chatting about redefining your definition of success, because I think that is so important to do, especially in today's society. So a little bit about me and what I do. So I help women who feel stuck and who feel unfulfilled, who feel tired and overworked and overwhelmed and depleted. I help them completely transform their lives into their most easeful lives, their most juicy lives, their most peaceful lives, their most joyful lives, with in community, with the best relationships, because that is absolutely what all women deserve. Okay, train cutting me off, but it's fine. But that is absolutely what all women deserve. But today I want to just come on here a little bit and talk about, like, what is your definition of success? Honestly, that's a question that I want you to ponder on right now. Like, what is your definition of success? Because it's so interesting. I see a lot of times many people, especially women, we're not really tapping into what our true definition of success is, but instead it's almost like we've been imprinted upon and society and our family, maybe, and our friends, and subconsciously proving your worth. All of these things come together and they kind of create their own definition of success that has nothing to do with your heart's calling, with what you really want to do in life. And that's why so many women feel unfulfilled. They're doing the things, like, women, like, we're so brilliant. So many people were doing the things, we're literally doing exactly what society told us to do. We got all the accolades, we're in the career, we're deep in the career, in powerful positions. And so many people feel unfulfilled. And it's like the math is not mathing. Like, that makes no sense. Like, we did exactly what we said we should do, and then we feel unfulfilled. Something is off. And what's off is that we're not tapping into what our definition of success is and what we really want to do. And instead, we're doing what society tells us to do. So even within my story a little bit, like, I remember, it's so funny. I found my old, like, vision board and, like, goals list from maybe a decade ago, maybe a little bit more. And I was looking at it like, I was like, what is this? Like, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I really ever wanted to do. So I was living in New York City at the time, and on there I had things like, by 30, become the most poppin', like, creative marketer, like, in New York City, and become like VP of a company, like, big boss vibes, become this, become that, in this industry, in that industry. It's so funny. These are industries that I worked in, and I never even want to go back to those industries. So it's just so funny and so interesting. And at the time, I think with me specifically, at the time, of course, I thought I knew what I wanted to be and, like, what success meant for me. But I think at the time, success was more about, like, achieving titles and creating accolades. And I think that it comes from I worked through this, like, this is all cleared. But it was this subconscious belief that, your worth comes through achieving in titles. And, I was a overachiever as a child. I was an A+ student, which I think is so beautiful. Like, I love that. However, sometimes when you're that golden child and you are that, like, A+ student, and you're always doing the things and you're getting so many praises for, your doing and your achievements, that can teach a child subconsciously that their self-worth is tied to them achieving. Because whenever they're getting this title, or this person on the sports team, and they're A+ this and A+ that, and they're only they're getting so much praise for all of their accolades, that's telling their subconscious mind that you get praise for accolades. So fast forward 20 years or however many years, when I was starting my career, my subconscious was saying you get praise for accolades. So subconsciously, I wanted to achieve all of these things and have all of these titles, because for me, it was like, okay, well, I'll be celebrated for creating these accolades. So for me, I think that's where it stemmed from. And of course, I think it is very important that you celebrate children, especially like, getting good grades and things like that are beautiful, but also celebrating their being is just as important. Celebrating when they're just chilling, when they're resting, when they're playing, just so it creates, more of a holistic celebratory response for children. So that was me and my story, and everyone has their stories. But yeah, it's so interesting because looking back, I'm like, ew, like it grosses me out. I couldn't even imagine if I achieved those things. I would be so unhappy. I would be so unfulfilled. I would probably feel so stuck. Oh my gosh, putting all of my heart and soul into this place that I don't even love. Oh, it just like grosses me out. I can't even, no, absolutely not. And today, my current definition of success, honestly, in this moment, my current definition of success is feeling good in my body. That is definitely one major, like, I have to feel good in my body. And showing up in places and spaces that don't feel good to me is not the definition of success. Even if that place is like the coolest place, in your industry, everyone has those places where it's like, oh, you do this or you do that. Like, that's amazing. If I'm doing that thing and I don't feel good in my body, that is not, no, like that is not success. Even if the price tag, however much I'm getting paid, is so high, like, no, I can't do it. And what else? I'm trying to like drop in a little bit and see what else is coming up for me around like what is a true definition of success. Before we continue with the video, I do want to talk about a new course, a new group course that I just launched. I'm so excited about this one. This course is called The Soft Life Meets Success. And this one is for all the high achieving women who are out there, who are burnt out and they just feel so depleted and unfulfilled. But, they really want a soft life, because when we're talking about what my definition of success is, having a soft life, living a life full of freedom and creativity, that is so, so, so important to me. And I definitely want to extend that to other women and do it in community, because it's like the most potent, powerful healing and transformation happens in community, and I truly do believe that, and it's so important to me. But also, I'm hosting a massive discount throughout the weekend, so I really wanted to include that in this video so that people can take advantage of the discount. And even if you're watching this in the future, you can also click the same link and purchase the replay if this is calling out to your heart and your soul. But yes, join me for the Soft Life Meets Success group coaching course. It is a 3-month group coaching course. We're going to meet once a week for 3 months. So really diving deep into that potent transformation. So yes, I look forward to seeing you there. I think really just expressing my truth and expressing my heart, stepping into my calling even deeper, that is my definition of success in this moment. So it has nothing to do with accolades. It has nothing to do with, external validation. Is really all internal. And the only person that can validate myself is me. This is also coming up for me right now in this moment. I think it's also really important to look at your foundation, because a lot of women make their foundation these, I call them weak foundations, where it's maybe your title, like your career, your looks, and all of these things are important, but when they're all together as a foundation, like it's not strong, it's weak in my opinion. Their looks, maybe like some flashy things, and I call that a weak foundation because all of those things can be pulled away from you at any moment. And think about all the stories where someone, they were doing something, or they had a title for 13 years or however many years, and then they got laid off, and when they got laid off, they just like spiraled down for like years because they didn't even know what their identity was outside of this place. And I think that's why I call that a weak foundation. I even say that only like, solely relying on your looks is also a weak foundation, because your looks can change. Like, our bodies change. What if you get pregnant and your body changes, or aging? And I think that aging is a really beautiful thing, but solely putting it into that is a weak foundation. I love beauty, absolutely. I want to be clear, like, I love beauty. I'm a beauty girl, but it's really like, how can you strengthen the foundation of your life? So when I think of a strong foundation, I think of love, I think of God, I think of community. Like, I think of my energy, like being in alignment with who I am and my calling. I think of peace. So really almost looking at like, what are these things that you look at as like your foundation or your core values, and how can you strengthen those into something that can't be taken away from you, that can't be, pulled from under the rug, and just like your life is in chaos because those things were taken from you overnight. Like, what are these things that are internal? They're not external. You're not seeking validation from anyone else. Just go within, and like, these are the foundation of who I am. So yes, I really invite everyone to just kind of journal on that question. Like, pull out a pen, pull out a piece of paper, and ask yourself, what is my definition of success? And I really want every person that does this, like, breathe into, when you're in your head a lot, you're not really getting to the truth of who you are. It's almost just like this mental plane, and you're overthinking. And then even as you're journaling, you're thinking, okay, what should I write? And it's not really like the truth of who you are. Breathe into your heart when you do this. Like, breathe up here, and then breathe down, and like come into your heart. Do that 3 times. Journal on what is your definition of success. And if you're not liking what's coming through, this is a beautiful opportunity to rework that. Yes. So I also, oh my gosh, I am so excited about this. So I've recently released a new masterclass about destroying your limiting beliefs. I think this is so important for all people. Kind of how I was talking about how certain things were programmed in me as a child. That happens to everybody, because your mind, oh my gosh, the mind is such a beautiful thing, but we only use about 5% of our brains, of our minds. The other 95% is the subconscious realm. So clearly, if that's the other 95%, that is running the show. Like, our conscious mind, what we're thinking right now, is like a drop in the bucket. But we have this huge, vast subconscious mind where many things were programmed. We're always taking in our environments, and so many things were programmed as a child. And those things could be helping you. Like, let's say the feeling of being like beautiful was programmed in you as a child. Everyone was like, you're beautiful. You're grown, and you're like, it's embedded in you. You're like, I am beauty. But let's say if it was the opposite, and you were a child and you were looking at your environment around you, and TV told you you weren't beautiful, or maybe someone in your family said it, and for some reason it got programmed in you as a child that you aren't beautiful. And fast forward 40 years later, you're an adult, and this is like getting in the way of your life, because you still have this subconscious belief that you aren't beautiful, that you aren't worthy. And now you're creating a vision board, and you're like, why aren't some of these things coming together? And it's because you have like these internal blocks in your subconscious mind. So I created a masterclass that goes deep into like very practical ways into how to destroy those limiting beliefs, how to reprogram your subconscious mind so that you can live your best life ever. And the tools in that course you can literally use across like every realm of your life. So whether that's about your self-worth, your beauty, your finances, your job, like it touches everything. So definitely check it out if you're interested, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.